Modern life is like a chaotic whirlwind where focus has become a luxury. We are swept up in the vortex of information, social media, and fleeting pleasures, forgetting the most important thing, ourselves. However, if you don't prioritize yourself, who will? If you don't control your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you will forever be a puppet of the outside world. In today's video, we're diving deep into the art of prioritizing your life, mastering your actions, and embracing the wisdom of Stoicism to navigate through this chaos. This isn't just about reducing screen time or managing your to-do list. It's about fundamentally transforming how you engage with the world around you. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit that not only helps shield you from the distractions, but also steers you towards a life of purpose and control. If you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple free favor you could do is hit that subscribe button and stick with us throughout the whole video. Trust me, you won't want to miss a beat. Let's unlock the secrets to living a focused, purpose-driven life, the Stoic way. Reasons why you need to take control of your life. Taking charge of your life is more than just a power move. It's a necessity for anyone looking to break free from the relentless pull of modern distractions and pressures. You know, there's something incredibly empowering about realizing that you, and only you, have the ultimate say over your thoughts, emotions, and daily actions. It's like waking up one day and understanding that the reins of your life are, and always have been, in your hands. Now, Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on what we can control, our own actions and reactions. The ancient Stoics believed that while we can't control the world around us, we can control how we respond to it. Think about that for a moment. Every day, we face a barrage of decisions: what to prioritize, how to respond to challenges, and where to invest our energy. If we don't make these decisions consciously, we're just reacting to what life throws at us. But when we start to take control, we're not just reacting anymore. We're acting with purpose and intention. And here's the real kicker. Taking control of your life doesn't mean you have to do everything alone or become a lone wolf. Instead, it's about understanding your values, aligning your actions with those values, and setting boundaries that help you stay true to yourself. It's about recognizing when to say yes, and more importantly, when to say no. How often have you found yourself stretched too thin, committed to tasks or engagements that don't serve your ultimate goals? Each time you take on something that doesn't align with your core values, you're not just using up time, you're diluting your essence, your personal power. This act of taking control also deeply intertwines with the concept of responsibility. Stoicism doesn't just teach us to endure life's hardships, but to embrace the responsibility for our own lives, including our happiness and well-being. It's about accepting that if you want life to change, you must change how you live it. This might mean reshaping your daily habits, rethinking your commitments, and restructuring how you spend your time. Imagine the freedom that comes with this control. Suddenly, you're not at the mercy of your circumstances. You can choose how to react when things go awry, and how to forge ahead with your long-term vision, no matter the short-term setbacks. This kind of mindset shift is powerful. It's not just about avoiding the negative either. It's about actively creating the positive, about making space in your life for the things that truly matter. And let's not forget about the peace that comes from this approach. When you're in control, there's a profound sense of calm that pervades everything you do. You're no longer caught in the tide, being swept this way and that. Instead, you move through life with a stoic tranquility, knowing that come what may, you have the inner resources to handle it. The importance of building discipline and sacrifice. Discipline and sacrifice might sound like big, heavy words, ones that bring to mind grueling workouts or giving up all your favorite foods. But when you really think about it, these concepts are about creating a life that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. It's about choosing your long-term well-being over momentary pleasures, and that's a powerful choice to make. When we dive into Stoic philosophy, we see a strong emphasis on self-control and the power of living according to reason rather than being swayed by fleeting emotions or desires. The Stoics weren't about denying themselves joy, but they were all about choosing a joy that lasts, choosing virtues that stand the test of time over quick fixes or superficial successes. Building discipline is essentially building the muscle that helps you consistently make those choices. It's the practice of aligning your actions with your values, day in and day out, even when it's not the easy thing to do. Now, let's talk about sacrifice. Sacrifice is often seen as giving something up, but in a Stoic sense, it's more about investment. You're not losing something, you're investing in something greater. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve your ultimate goals, you're saying yes to something else that does. Want to build a business? That might mean sacrificing lazy weekends. Aiming to be healthier? That might mean passing on dessert. It's all about priorities, and making those tough choices consistently helps you build a life that truly reflects who you are and who you want to be. And here's the thing about discipline and sacrifice. They feed into each other. The more disciplined you are, the easier it becomes to make sacrifices because you're clear about what you're sacrificing for. It's not deprivation if it's a choice that leads you to a richer, more fulfilling life. In fact, that clarity and purpose can bring a profound sense of satisfaction and empowerment. It's like looking at a map and knowing you're on the right path, even if the terrain is tough. You know where you're heading, and every step, no matter how challenging, is a step towards your destination. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds great in theory, but it's not so simple in practice. And you're right, it's not simple, but it is straightforward. Discipline doesn't complicate your life, it simplifies it. Think about it. When you have clear rules for how you live, rules you've set for yourself based on what truly matters to you, every decision becomes easier. There's less hemming and hawing over every little choice, because you already know what's important. You become more decisive, more focused, and ironically, more free. Free from indecision, from regret, and from feeling like you're not in control of your life. Embracing discipline and sacrifice also leads to greater self-respect and self-trust. Each time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you prove to yourself that you are reliable, that you are worthy of trust, and that you have what it takes to achieve your goals. That's a powerful foundation to build your life on. It's not about being rigid or harsh with yourself. It's about being honest about what it takes to live a life you can be proud of, and then having the courage to live it. So, while discipline and sacrifice might seem daunting, remember that they are the tools with which you carve out a life worth living. They are the practices that allow you to rise above the chaos of everyday desires and distractions and focus on what's truly important. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not just important, it's everything. Building a disciplined life, a life where sacrifices are seen as stepping stones to greater achievements, is what Stoicism is all about. It's not the easy path, but it is the rewarding one. Schedule and focus. When you think about it, how we organize our day says a lot about what we value. A cluttered, chaotic schedule can reflect a chaotic mind or life, but a well-structured day where every task and every moment has a purpose. That speaks volumes about intentionality and focus. It's not just about getting things done, it's about making sure what we do matters, aligning our daily actions with our long-term visions. In Stoicism, there's a big emphasis on living deliberately. It's not enough to float along, reacting to whatever life throws at us. Stoics teach us the value of proactivity, of crafting our lives with the same care and attention that a sculptor might use when chiseling a statue from marble. And how do we do that? By carefully choosing how we spend our time and energy each day. Scheduling and focus aren't just productivity tools, they are fundamental practices that help us live more virtuously and purposefully. Think about your typical day. How much of it is spent doing things that truly resonate with your core values? How much is spent in distraction or in activities that don't really serve you? The truth is, without a clear schedule and a sharp focus, it's all too easy to drift off course. Our modern world is engineered to pull our attention in a million different directions. Notifications, the endless scroll on social media, the latest drama. It can all take away from time that could be spent on more fulfilling pursuits. This is where the art of focus comes in. Focus is not just a skill, it's a practice, almost a form of meditation. It's about bringing your attention back to the present moment and to the task at hand, again and again, no matter how many times it wanders. It's about being present in your own life. And scheduling, that's about priority. It's about deciding what's important enough to take up your time. A solid schedule protects your focus by creating boundaries, shielding your energy from the myriad of less important things that could otherwise occupy your day. Stoicism isn't just about enduring life, it's about enjoying it in a rational, thoughtful way. By setting a schedule that reflects your priorities, you're effectively mapping out a path to your best self. And by sticking to this schedule with focused intent, you're walking that path every single day, regardless of external circumstances. This kind of disciplined approach frees you from the tyranny of whims and impulses, and instead grounds your actions in your own chosen values. And let's not underestimate the peace that comes with this kind of structured approach. When you know what you need to do, and when you're going to do it, there's a certain calm that settles in. You no longer need to fret about when you'll get to your tasks, or whether you're making progress on your goals. Your schedule has it covered. This clarity and peace of mind are priceless. They allow you to fully engage with each task, each moment, with full confidence that you're exactly where you need to be. So, how do we start? Begin by evaluating how you currently spend your day. Identify the time sinks, the habitual activities that don't serve your larger goals. Next, think about what you truly want to accomplish, both in the short term and the long term. Now, craft your schedule around these insights, block out time for the activities that drive you towards your goals, and be ruthless about cutting out the distractions. Remember, focus and scheduling are skills, and like all skills, they improve with practice. The more you practice focusing on the task at hand and adhering to a well-thought-out schedule, the more natural it will become. Over time, what once felt restrictive will start to feel like freedom. The freedom to live a life that's fully aligned with your deepest values and aspirations. Process is key, not just results. In a world that often seems obsessed with outcomes and end results, it's easy to forget that the journey, the process itself, is where the real magic happens. It's where we learn, grow, and truly make a difference in our own lives and the lives of others. We get so focused on the destination that we sometimes speed past the experiences that shape us, the moments where we find our true strengths and weaknesses. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and while we can influence outcomes, we can't control them entirely. What we can manage every day, however, is our actions and attitudes, the process. By shifting our focus from outcomes to the actions that lead to those outcomes, we gain a much deeper sense of control and satisfaction. It's not just about reaching the peak of the mountain, it's about becoming someone who can climb mountains at will. Think about it this way. If you were only focused on getting to the top of a mountain, you might miss the lessons learned from the struggle of the ascent, the adaptation to the harsh winds, or the strategy needed to tackle the next climb. These experiences are invaluable. They don't just prepare us for one specific goal, but for any challenge that might come our way. In focusing on the process, we become versatile, resilient, and prepared. We become masters of adaptation, not just momentary champions. And here's something else to consider. When we focus solely on results, we're often tempted to take shortcuts. We might achieve our immediate goals, but at what cost? By valuing the process, we ensure that we're building something sustainable, that we're not just building a house of cards ready to topple over at the first sign of trouble. We're laying down a strong foundation, brick by brick, with our own hands. This approach breeds a type of integrity and authenticity that quick wins simply can't match. Moreover, by embracing the process, we learn to find joy in the everyday. Each step becomes rewarding, not just the moment of crossing a finish line. For Stoics, joy comes from performing each task with care and attention, from living according to virtue in the present moment, without being overly attached to the past or anxiously awaiting the future. This mindful approach frees us from the anxiety of what-ifs and if-onlys, allowing us to live fully in the now, appreciating each stroke of the brush as we paint the canvas of our lives. So how do we make this shift in perspective? Start by setting small, process-oriented goals alongside your larger, outcome-based goals. For instance, instead of just aiming to lose weight, an outcome, set a goal to walk a certain number of steps each day or to cook a healthy meal each evening, the process. Celebrate these small victories as fervently as you would the achievement of the final goal. Over time, these process goals will build habits, and habits build the kind of life you want to live, one day at a time. In embracing the process, we also cultivate patience, a virtue highly regarded in Stoic philosophy. Patience isn't just about waiting, it's about maintaining a good attitude while working toward your goals, knowing that some things just can't be rushed. It's about trusting the process and being open to the lessons it teaches us. Embrace solitude to strengthen your inner resolve. Sometimes, in the constant buzz of our social world, the idea of solitude can feel like a forgotten art. It's almost as if being alone has become synonymous with loneliness or isolation. But there's a profound difference between being lonely and embracing solitude. When we choose solitude, we're not just stepping away from the noise of the world, we're stepping closer to ourselves. It's in these moments of quiet that we often find our deepest clarity and strength. Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches the mastery of self through rational thought and emotional resilience, places great value on solitude. The Stoics understood that some of the most important conversations we will ever have are the ones we have with ourselves. In solitude, away from the influence of external voices and distractions, we can hear our own thoughts more clearly. We can reflect, plan, and connect with our deeper values and aspirations. This isn't about escaping from the world, but rather preparing ourselves to engage with it more effectively. Embracing solitude gives us the space to practice self-reflection, a key Stoic exercise. It allows us to examine our lives critically and compassionately, to acknowledge our flaws and celebrate our strengths. This kind of introspection helps us understand our motivations and correct our course if we find we've strayed from our chosen path. By regularly engaging in this practice, we build a stronger sense of self-awareness, which is crucial for personal growth and resilience. Moreover, solitude can be a powerful tool to strengthen our inner resolve. In the quiet, we are the sole architects of our thoughts. There is no crowd to sway us, no peer pressure to influence our decisions. It's just us and our principles. This environment is where we can best cultivate fortitude and endurance, qualities that the Stoics prized above many others. It's where we learn to be self-reliant, finding comfort in our own company and confidence in our own decisions. But how do we embrace solitude in a world that often fears it? Start small. Dedicate a few minutes each day to sit quietly with your thoughts. Maybe it's a morning routine where you reflect on what you want from the day, or perhaps an evening ritual where you ponder what you've learned and how you've grown. These moments alone are not about idleness. They are active, purposeful pauses that can help recalibrate your mind and spirit. Remember, the goal of embracing solitude is not to disengage from the relationships and activities that enrich our lives. Instead, it's about creating a balance. Just as our bodies need rest after exertion, our minds benefit from quiet after the clamor. Solitude provides a sanctuary where our minds can rest and recover, gaining the strength needed to face the complexities of life with a calm and steady demeanor. And here's another beautiful aspect of solitude. It enhances our appreciation for the connections we do have. When we spend time alone, reflecting on our values and experiences, we often gain a deeper appreciation for the relationships and communities that support and enrich us. We return to our social circles refreshed and perhaps with new insights and ideas to share. Thanks for joining me today and for being a vital part of our Stoic Journal community. Remember, in the silence of solitude, we find the echoes of our true strength. Now, don't forget to check out one of the suggested videos on the screen to continue your journey towards a more stoic, focused, and fulfilling life. Together, let's keep exploring the path of wisdom and resilience. See you in the next video.